Identify and list the different types of sequence involved in the development of samadhi. Okay, and I want you to add and see if you can discern any general patterns. You will see that in your notes, every now and then, the note will tell you there's this sequence, from joy to rapture to tranquility to this and that, right? So all the sequences, most of them are already in the notes. So what you need to do is to compile all these, all right? And try to see whether you can see any patterns involved in the mental states that are found in the sequence. Joy, tranquility, happiness, samadhi, or faith, or suffering, this sort of thing. All right. Okay, let me show you. I'm going to distribute a chart. Up here you can see a question mark and an N. Can you see? You don't have to copy this because it's really printed out. It's a blank table, and you just need to go back and do your homework and come back and share with your group members and come up with a master copy for each group. First, you go back and do your individual copy, and then you'll come back, and when during a group discussion, the group will agree on one master copy for each group. Here, there are mental states involved, and here there are certain patterns. I have identified about more than 7 patterns actually, but here I show you six patterns. And I want you to identify the sutta number. Here, question mark means it could be AN or SN or MN. It could be Anguttara Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, or Digha Nikaya, okay, whatever it is. So the N shows the Nikaya. The question mark is, you're supposed to tell me which Nikaya it is in. And below it here, you write down the sutta number. Right? Here is the sutta number. For example, it could be SN 40.1. All right? And here you write down the page number of this book where that sutta can be found for everybody to refer easily. So up there will be the Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya 3.5, SN 20.6 or something like that lah. I'm just showing you an example. And then below here, page, the page number, same here. And here, mental states. So it will be like that. Try to arrange the mental states and try to find out if there's any pattern that you can see in the sequence. There are different sequences, but they may follow a certain pattern. So I want you to list all these mental states. For example, faith, non-remorse, joy, rapture, happiness, and so forth. Okay? You put them under here. Sometimes it's mental states, sometimes it's not a mental state, but it's the process of the mind. For example, the 4-step process of samatha and the 3-step process of vipassana. That one is a process. Mental states are like joy, happiness, tranquility, composure, and so forth. Weariness, detachment. The blank tables are here on this table. After we've shared merits, please collect them. The first part is A. The second part is B. Attempt to grade the range of samadhi from low end to high end and to evaluate if this has any connection to its sequence of development. Now, each sequence ends up in samadhi, and there are at least 6 sequences. Right? So in each of these sequences, you try to find out whether the samadhi that is the end result is a low-end samadhi, a mid-range samadhi, or a high-end samadhi. Is there any relation or not? There may not be. There may be. So you find out. Now, what I mean by low-end, mid-range, and high-end. Mid-range are the jhanas. Right? Low-end are the pre-jhanas, before the jhana. There's samadhi, but it's not jhana samadhi. And then high-end is the post-jhana, beyond the jhana. Beyond the jhana would be the arupas, the formless attainments. Go on to C, what do you think would be the most appropriate translation for samadhi? Okay, so we see that in Vitakka Santana Sutta, samadhi can be attained by 5 ways: substitution, by reflection, by ignoring, by questioning, by gritting your teeth. So this is obviously not a high-end samadhi. It's a low-end samadhi. So you wouldn't want to call it concentration. What would be a better translation than concentration or composure for samadhi, taking into consideration the etymology of the word samadhi. Sang and a and da. Sang is properly, a is to bring, and da is to place. Now D12, relate the range of samadhi graded in D11B to Sama Samadhi. In other words, can any of those samadhi that is graded in 11B, can they be classified as Sama Samadhi? In order to know whether they can be classified as Sama Samadhi, you must read through that short section on Sama Samadhi. That's on page 110 to 114. So there are only 4 pages for you to read. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 suttas only. These 5 suttas are all about Sama Samadhi. And see how they describe or define Sama Samadhi, and then try to relate with your findings. There's a request to repeat the high-end and low-end samadhi. The low-end samadhi is a pre-jhanic samadhi. Mid-range one is the jhanas, the 4 jhanas. High-end is the arupas, beyond the 4 jhanas. Okay, clear enough? All right?